There are thousands of clubs across the non-league pyramid here in England, and each of them have their own stadium. And so today I'm going to be taking a look through my top 10 most unique ones. Let's get into it. In 10th place I've gone with Bodmin Town with Priory Park. The club moved in here in 1948, just after the Second World War, and it has a current capacity of around 5,000. It's a sparse ground with two ends left open and another a grass bank, but the main stand is where it's all happening. This was built in 1958, a decade after the ground was opened, and it's named after T.H. Denison, who donated £2,500 at the time for its construction. As you can see, it features a pitched roof and wooden benches to sit on. In 9th is Dulwich Hamlet with Champion Hill. This place has a current capacity of 3,000 but was once one of the biggest amateur grounds in England, attracting regular crowds of 20,000 plus. It's been used by Dulwich Hamlet since 1912 and also hosted some football matches during the 1948 Summer Olympics. It's known as an asset of community value by the local council and features the iconic clock above the main stand and the lettering of DHFC. In 8th place I've gone with Halifax Town at the Shea. Now this is the largest stadium in non-league with a capacity of 14,081. The land that this ground is sat on actually has quite a bit of history as well as the stadium itself, as it dates back hundreds of years, right back to the reign of Henry VIII, when it was owned by one of the most wealthy and influential men of the time. And it was also interestingly used as a trench digging practice site during the Second World War. Just over 100 years ago though, in 1921, it was turned into the football stadium that we've got today. In terms of this ground structure, you've got the terraced south stand which houses most of the atmosphere and the noisy Halifax Towns, and then you've also got this little grass bank in the corner, which I quite like too. In 7th is Southend United with Roots Hall. This is another one of the biggest grounds in non-league, this time with a 12,392 capacity. It's regularly filled up with over 6,000 faithful Southend United fans, and since the takeover of the club has gone through, they've now sold something like 3,000 or 4,000 season tickets alone ahead of the 24-25 National League season. Some people do say that the ground is a bit rickety, it may be falling apart in some places, hence why they were actually meant to move stadium, but of course that eventually fell through. However, I still see it as one of the best in non-league because of the simple reason that it is so unique. You've got the south stand with its two tiers, the east stand where you've got lots of Southend fans down in the far corner making a lot of noise and an atmosphere. I'd say if anything it reminds me a bit of Luton Town's Kenilworth Road, and it's a shame that of course they're going to be moving out of that one soon. In 6th I've gone with Bexhill United with their ground, the Polegrove. This was opened in 1926 and has been used by Bexhill since that year. You've got a fantastic main stand. It's in a mock Tudor style, opened in 1929, with of course the white painted brick and the timber as well, and inside there you've got some wooden seats. The capacity in this place is around 1,000. Halfway through now, and in 5th place is Chorley FC with Victory Park. This was opened in 1920 with a capacity of 4,300, and its name commemorates victory in the First World War. This is quite a large, spacious ground. You've got the main stand here with a fair few seats in it, of course, two floodlights poking out the top, which I quite like, and then opposite this one is another terrace, again with plenty of space for Chorley supporters to stand and watch the game. In 4th is Crooktown with their ground, Millfield. They've been playing here since the late 1800s, and right now it's got a capacity of around 1,500, although crowds were much larger when the club were one of the world's biggest amateur touring teams right back in their early days. In fact, tours in the early 1900s saw over 100,000 people watch them play in India, and they also played Barcelona a fair few times, winning many of those games as well. The ground is brandished in the club's black and white colours, has this nice colourful fencing as well, and for me is one that I really do like. In 3rd place I've gone with Ebbsfleet United and their home ground, Stonebridge Road. Now this place was built and opened in 1905, and I must say the ground really is starting to feel that age. Yes, you've got the modern main stand which was recently redeveloped. It's got lots of nice features like a clubhouse, lovely roof, a really interesting structure and a club shop, but the rest of the ground hasn't been neglected, but you know, like I say, it's starting to feel its age, and it does feel like it does need a bit of an update. You've got the away stand, which is behind this goal here where the picture behind me is taken from, which is just completely open and standing. Opposite this you've got the plough end, although last time I visited it was half blocked off. And then opposite the main stand you've got the ironically named old stand, which is mostly wooden. It's got those wooden pillars which are blocking the view as well. And because of all these reasons, they are looking to move ground in the future. They put plans in for a new 8,000 capacity stadium, not too far away, and it will be interesting to see how that develops. But in the meantime, whilst they're still here at Stonebridge Road, you know, it's a nice ground. It's one that I visited before, like I say. I do like how you've got the old and the new opposite each other. It shows the club are moving in the right direction. There's a lot of red and white around as well, which of course are the club's colours. It's a nice ground. In second place, I've gone with Lancaster City and their ground, the Giants Axe. Now this ground has been the home of Lancaster since formation of the current club in 1911 and was used by previous Lancaster clubs before this. The reason it's called the Giant Axe is because at one point in its history, when there was a few other sporting places and it was a sort of complex, not just a football stadium, when you looked at it from above, it did look like a giant axe head. You've got the main stand, which features blue and white seats along with pillars. Around the ground is a lovely brick wall, and it's also overlooked by Lancaster Castle. Finally though, in first place, I've gone with Dartford FC and their home ground, Princes Park. This was opened in 2006 as a way for Dartford to return home following quite a long period of ground sharing around Essex. It cost around £6.5 million to build and is actually one of the most ecologically sound grounds around. The pitch is sunken 2 metres into the ground to reduce noise and light pollution. You've got a sedum roof blanket, which is basically a living plant roof which helps with air filtration, and you've even got ponds outside of the ground where water is collected and recycled and used in the clubhouse toilets. The way this ground all seems to be closed in, you know, all the corners are connected, it's got a roof over every part of the ground, it does make it feel like it's a lot bigger than it actually is. It's only got a capacity of around 4,000. However, when you're in there, it feels like it's, you know, potentially an EFL ground. It's a fantastic one, and that's why it's number one on my list. And I'll actually be doing a whole video there soon on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much for watching the video. Let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of these grounds on my list, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.